Hello Tubies. I got a rebuttal video lined up here to a user by the name of AnswermanCry, AnswermanCRI. It's all one word. I don't know how he wants it pronounced. But the video is called Two Skeptics, Evidence for the Bible Part 1, Eyewitness. And he's basically going to take eyewitness testimony and use that to prove the biblical story. The story of Jesus, specifically, he spends a lot of time on. So I guess what else can we do but dive right in here? Let's hear what the man has to say.
It seemed good also to me to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things you have been taught. These are the words of Luke in the Gospel of Luke, talking about the account of Jesus Christ and what happened to him in the Bible. This is section 1 of our 4-part video about the proofs for the Bible, and it's the eyewitness proof that I want to talk about today. You see, the Bible claims itself that it is historical.
I got something for you here. Take a look at that. This is a book called Conan the Gladiator. Now this here book claims itself to be a historical account of Conan of Samaria. Conan the Merciless, future king of Samaria. This right here, you see him? You see his ripply, muscly, tanned body? You see the poor woman lying at his feet just waiting to be saved from the evil, twisted necromancers? I think maybe you and I have more in common than we think we do. Let's move on.
It claims that if you would study it and you would see the truth in it, that you would find that there is nothing not historical about it.
Same difference here. Same difference here. All this book asks is that you keep an open mind and an open heart, and it'll teach you all about Conan. All you got to do is read it with an open mind and an open heart. In fact, let me show you some shit right here. This will blow your mind. This will blow your mind. Blow. Maps. That's a map of Samaria right there. Where the hell are you going to get a map if this ain't true? That's a map. What, did somebody just draw up a map? Check it out. Right there. Samaria. Blow. See, a lot of people would say, oh, Samaria is just a metaphorical example, or Samaria is just a story to perpetuate this myth that all men are ripply, muscly barbarians and all women need to be saved and that all necromancers are bald and evil. But right there, skeptics, hello, maps.
Luke is a writer that says this: I'm going to gather up eyewitness accounts. It says in the first chapter of Luke, I'm going to gather up eyewitness accounts, and I'm going to gather up other reliable sources, and I'm going to write you an orderly account of exactly what happened to Jesus. Now, Luke is a doctor, and he takes his education very seriously. And
what better eyewitness account can you have than straight from the horse's mouth? Conan wrote this book. He wrote this book about what happened to him. That's the ultimate eyewitness account. Now, Conan is a barbarian, and he takes his barbarianism very, very seriously. You know, when he sees his enemies driven before him and hears the lamentations of their women, he's not playing around. All right, does he look like he's playing around? This right here is an artist's representation of what we very well believe the man probably looked like. Look at that. Look at that loincloth. That's the meanest loincloth I've ever seen in my entire life. Would you mess with this guy? Would you question this guy? Would you question the veracity of a statement made by that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I tell you what, not only would you have a fool made of you as soon as you opened up the book and saw the maps, but you'd probably end up like one of them poor bald necromancers right there, being tossed around like a chicken or a rag doll or something. No, I know what you're talking about. Eyewitness accounts. That's a powerful, powerful proof.
so he's not just going to write a bunch of fluff. He's actually trying to do a systematic discovery of what happened to Jesus.
Does it look like this guy's even capable of fluff? Does it look like there's anything on his body that could possibly be fluffy? I mean, even his hair is like a black matted Brillo pad. I mean, it looks like, all right, granted, it looks like maybe that loincloth is a little fluffy. But I tell you what that loincloth is. That's a fluffy animal that he killed with his bare fucking hands. He probably stripped that hide off of that carcass with his teeth. Now, I think he's allowed a little fluff in that instance. But this guy's not going to write fluff either. This is a hard, factual analysis of what happened to him when he, was captured by the necromancers and forced to fight in the gladiatorial arena.
You have 3 eyewitness accounts: Matthew, Mark, and John. Now, what's interesting about these eyewitnesses is that in all of their books, they do not contradict each other. Now, one might leave out a little bit of the story, and the other might add to a little bit more details of the story. But imagine if we were to have a court case and we were to take 3 witnesses of something that didn't happen. Let's say we took 3 false witnesses of a bank robbery that didn't actually take place. And we sat them down at a different desk at a different time and asked them each what exactly happened. Now, you would get all kinds of contradictions and variances in the story. And even if the story was true, sometimes you would get those contradictions and things. But it's very interesting that these 3 books, untampered with for thousands of years, have the same stories and do not conflict in their details.
I mean, I suppose, and like I said, me and you are going to agree on a lot of this, brother, but I suppose that what you could have is 3 liars, right, that have kind of gotten together and gotten their story straight, right, so that when they go into the separate rooms at separate times, they tell pretty much the same story because they've all kind of conferred with one another, or, they're all telling the same story that they believe to be true, or maybe that they know isn't true, but they're telling the same. I suppose that's a possibility. I suppose it's also, and I'm just throwing stuff out there, to throw a little food to the skeptics. Put a little chum in the water and see if we can stir up some skeptic sharks. I suppose it could be that Matthew, Mark, and Luke didn't fucking exist at all. I suppose that, it could be. I suppose it could be. And I suppose that it could be that all 3 of these accounts were written by the same person or altered by the same person. I'm going to assume that that's the King James that you're holding there. And I think it's really funny that you talk about the King James Bible not being tampered with. I think maybe you need to look into the Nicene Creed and maybe decide for yourself what has and hasn't been tampered with in 2,000 years. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate, brother.
This is what Luke is talking about. I'm trying to gather with you a reliable source for what happened to Jesus.
Answer man. You look like a nice guy. He looks like a nice guy. He doesn't look like an asshole. He looks like a decent person. But this is a great example of the type of shit these people are taught. This is a great example of the type of stuff these people are spoon-fed as truth and logic. He's saying that the Bible is proof of itself. That the Bible, by its very existence, by the fact that there are words on a page in a Bible that tell a story, and those words can be read and deciphered by our brain, that must mean that these events happened exactly as they're described. The Bible is proof of itself. Answer man. The Bible is not proof of itself any more than Conan the Gladiator is proof of itself. It's a story. The Bible is a book of stories. If I held this up as ultimate proof that Conan the Cimmerian once ruled over the lands of Samaria with an iron fist, you would laugh in my face. But for some reason you readily accept that Bible. You readily accept that Bible as proving itself. It's laughable. Anyway, perhaps I'll go through some of your other videos and do some responses to those too. This is part 1. But you can't use eyewitness evidence from the Bible, especially not eyewitnesses that can't be cross-examined. You can't sit Matthew, Mark, and Luke down and cross-examine them and ask. They have the distinct advantage of being dead, or perhaps not existing at all. So they're not eyewitnesses. They're characters in a story. Anyways, take it easy, people, and peace out.